What's up, everyone? Today I am with Korey Taylor ahead of his PFL debut, where he'll be going up against Biaggio Ali Walsh on August 16th. Korey, welcome back to the program. Always a pleasure to have you on the People's Show, Mom's Basement MMA. I like chopping it up with you, and congratulations on winning your most recent fight, sir.
Thank you, man. It's great to be back. I love this podcast. I love watching all your content and stuff. So I'm honored to be here.
Well, it's an honor to have you, and talk to me about your most recent performance. May 4th, you go out there and you get another impressive victory to your name, your 4th professional victory. Quinton Bray, you take this guy out in the very first round. Tell me how you did that, man. Tell me about what that fight was like and how you set up that finish.
Yeah, for sure, man. So that fight, I actually worked a lot on my stand-up. I've always been comfortable, on the feet. But I'm a grappler at heart and I can't help it. That being said, I worked really, really hard, countless hours on that stand-up with my striking coach, Gene Batista. Man, guy's amazing. Definitely changed my whole striking game. You know what I mean? And went out there, and the dude was strong, like super athletic. So I had to put a little bit of wear on him standing up. It was a really cool experience because he comes out, dude kicked like a freaking horse. And I was like, man, this is a good fight. This is going to be a good fight for me. And I touched him with a check left and watched him wobble. And I was like, oh man, like, okay. I need to do that again. I ended up having to be very patient there. So I'm sure you can, you see it on the record, but I finished him with like 5 or 6 seconds left in the round. That's the longest fight I've had as a pro. I was a lot more patient. I was completely okay with either knocking him out on the feet, taking him down, ground and pound, submission, whatever. So I ended up touching him a couple times, and about 3 or 4 times when I touched him, it wobbled him pretty good. And then towards the end, I just took him down, started dropping a couple elbows. And I remember thinking in my mind, I was like, I don't know if I'm in the best position to really do a lot of damage with these. But right as I thought, that thought came in my mind, I heard the referee, tell him, hey, you better defend yourself, do something. And I was like, or this is working. So I just started really hammering it down. I switched to punches too, and then pulled me off. So again, I don't like fighting for 15 minutes, so the sooner the better.
You are incredibly active. You've only been a professional for about a year, and it was almost a year to the day from your pro debut to the Bray fight. So a lot of activity, and you look at you on Tapology, and one could make the conclusion that the past year has just been like one giant fight camp for you. Can you tell me just how has your game evolved from your debut fight versus Pew to this most recent one against Bray? Like, how have you grown as a fighter over the past year?
I'm definitely a more complete fighter. I started out with my pro debut. I knew the guy that I was fighting with, Dowan Pugh, that he was primarily just going to try and box me. Tall, linky guy. He fought up a couple weight classes above me, actually, and came down, and I moved up a little bit to fight him. And I knew that he had the range. I knew that he was a big, strong, guy. I didn't really care to try and do any stand-up with him. My whole camp in that first camp as a pro, I basically worked on timing to get in on a takedown, take him down, and, finish him there, which I was able to. And then from there, I just built on that. I took every opportunity to learn and just get experience. So each opponent, I just tried to add more things to my tool belt each time. And I felt like I was very successful with that. So I'm definitely a more well-rounded fighter as far as being able to keep it standing, wrestle if I need to, take it to the ground, and do whatever I need to there as well.
Korey, I saw you on my television last week. You were in England, and here we are. Now you're back in Florida getting ready for your fight. And can you tell me a little bit about that? For Preston's last 2 fights, you've been in his corner, and you've gone through that experience, and you've seen just kind of like the behind the scenes, prime you mentally to get ready for a big stage such as this.
Yeah, 100%. I actually was talking to Preston about it the other day, and I love it. I've always loved coaching. I've always loved cornering my teammates as often as I possibly can. But being there with him on such a big stage, so many people watching, especially this one being a big pay-per-view, tens of thousands of people in attendance was awesome. It was an awesome experience. It really does help that mindset of being in that type of environment and in front of that many people. It just, my head coach, Professor Roberto, he always says, yes, this next fight is the biggest fight you've had so far. This is the biggest stage you've been on so far. But this is only going to be as big as you make it in your head. So I always try and keep that in mind. And with that being said, with this fight coming up, I just look at it like it's another dude in another cage.
Korey, can you tell me a little bit, like, obviously you've been competing in Combat Night. That is like one of the biggest MMA promotions in Florida. And now we kind of have like a pivot in plans, right? Because from the Bray fight to this fight, I doubt that you were expecting to fight Biaggio Ali Walsh for PFL here in August. Can you tell me a little bit about just from the Bray fight in May to here we are getting ready to fight here in a couple weeks? Kind of what's been going on with you behind the scenes? Were you getting ready for something different? How did this fight with the PFL all come together? And can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I started camp probably about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. I was actually getting ready for another fight with Combat Night, very close to this date with the PFL. So on top of that, Preston was getting ready for his fight. So I'm in his camp. I'm helping him out. So I stay active. And I believe last time on our last discussion that I was on, I mentioned being one of the head coaches at the academy that I train out of. And that's what I do for a living. So even outside of a camp, I am always training. I'm always active. I'm very fortunate to have that type of lifestyle. And I consider myself very privileged to be able to do that. Not a lot of people get to do that. Some people have to go out and get other jobs and then come in and train for a fight, which can be very strenuous. I've had to do that before. But yeah, so even outside of camp, I'm still training every single day, at least once or twice a day. You know what I mean?
Can you tell me a little bit, like, obviously you're going up against Biaggio Ali Walsh for the PFL, and, it's a big fight. And this is a guy that, let's be real, like, he's the guy that they've been trying to build up for quite a while. But obviously there must be something here that you see that you like, because you wouldn't have taken the fight if you didn't think you could beat Biaggio Ali Walsh. Tell me, like, what's your opinion on your opponent? And just kind of like, without getting too much into the weeds, because I want to watch this fight here on August 16th. But can you tell me a little bit, just kind of like in general, what do you think about this matchup against him?
I love this matchup. I don't think I'm a very good matchup for him, honestly. I know that they probably looked at my record and was like, oh, as a pro, he hasn't really fought anybody, of note. But, on the regional scene, there's not that many big names as it is. But, that wasn't by design. Like I was telling you earlier, I was supposed to fight different guys, dropouts, consistently. So they're trying to just piece everything together and find me someone to fight that, that way I'm not wasting a camp. So that's kind of why that ended up being that way with, my opponents having the records that they have. But I mean, that's fine. That's fine by me. I love this fight for me because I'm super comfortable standing up, grappling. I'm very comfortable being on the ground. And I see him only being comfortable with me, with one thing. I only see one way that he gets me out of there. And I have several. I know people say that a lot. It's kind of cliche, but that's facts.
Do you see any weaknesses in Ali Walsh's game?
Yeah, he doesn't like to grapple very much. When he does, you can tell it wears him out just a little bit. So,
yeah, and when I think of you, Korey, I think of a lot of things actually, but I would just say, like, I'd say that you're actually a pretty well-rounded fighter. I know there's not a ton of footage out there on you. I know, like your fights don't typically last a whole lot of time, but I'd say you're pretty well-rounded and you have like a lot of things about your game. And to an extent, do you feel because there's not a lot of footage out on you that it's kind of an advantage in a way? Because I'm sure there are parts of your game that you've developed over the years, whether it be your takedowns, Muay Thai, grappling, etc., that you've maybe not had the opportunity to demonstrate.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Same with him, right? He doesn't have a crap ton of footage, but he definitely has more than me. Sure. So, But yeah, I think there's a huge advantage in the fact that you can only see so much of my game. And I'm working to improve every single day. So every day that I'm in the gym, I'm adding things in my tool belt, busting my ass every single day, multiple times a day. But yeah, you're not going to see a whole lot of footage on me because, like you said, one, my fights don't last very long. But two, I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I'm not one of those big social media guys as of now. Apparently, I have to fix that. But I've never been the guy that wanted a camera following me in the gym, so I don't have like a crap ton of recorded videos of me training, which is kind of the way I prefer it. But yeah, I definitely have the advantage as far as that goes.
Well, now you're just going into your 5th pro fight, so you are already doing one thing that a lot of fighters can't say that they've done, and it's fight for a major MMA organization. Can you just tell me a little bit, like, when you signed on that dotted line, in here in a couple weeks, right? You're getting ready to like set foot into the PFL Smart Cage, like you'll officially be a PFL fighter. Like, what does that like mean for you, like to accomplish so much in such a relatively short amount of time? You've only been doing this for a year, and you're already fighting for a major MMA organization. Like, is that kind of like surreal when you think about it?
Yes, absolutely. My wife asked me, several times the day that I found out. She's like, "How are you feeling? What are you thinking?" And I just couldn't stop smiling the whole day. And it was funny because I have a relatively small circle, but I had to beg my manager, Steve. I was like, "Hey, man, can I tell one of my teammates? Can I tell so-and-so? And he's like, "No, not yet. You got to keep it under wraps until it gets announced." And I was like, this is killing me. I can't I have to tell somebody. I was so excited, man. I couldn't stop smiling. And it was a very surreal moment. And it meant a lot to me that I was able to share that immediately, though, with my wife and my kids. You know what I mean? My son is 7 years old. My daughter's 4. My wife's 7 months pregnant with our next one right now.
Well, congratulations to you.
Thank you. So that being said, ever since my children were born, they have been in, the academy with me every single day. And my son competes in jiu-jitsu. He wrestles. He does, the striking classes and stuff like that. And when he turned about 4 or 5, I started letting him go to my fights. You know what I mean? Not my daughter, not yet. I can't.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. But, and at first he was like, "Oh, fights, I don't care." And then the older he got, the more interested he got in. And he walked up to, I think it was our neighbor or something like that. And he was like, "Hey, my dad is in the PFL." And I got goosebumps. I was like, "Oh my God." Like, because, I think every dad wants to be their son's hero. And to hear him like talk about me that way, like, holy shit, I did it. You know what I mean? It was an amazing feeling, and I loved it.
When you like flash forward into the future, when you're a ripe old man such as your boy over here, and you look back, like you'll have like something that no one can ever take away from you, regardless of what happens come fight night. Like you'll be able to say that, hey, once upon a time, like I did this. Like I went in there with like one of the top guys in the country, and we fought. We went at it. We did it, and it was on ESPN, and you could watch it whenever you want. Like, what does like all of that like mean? It must feel like surreal in a way.
Yeah. No, it's awesome, man. It's awesome. And I remember when I first started fighting as an amateur, and I think I told you this the last time we talked. Man, that dude, he just beat my ass like so bad. And I ended up pulling that out in the last like 10 seconds of the last round. But for 3 straight rounds, that dude put it on me. And I remember leaving and going, I never want to do this shit again. Like that was horrible. And I was embarrassed. I won the fight, and I was so embarrassed. I was like, I don't even want to go back to class. Like people are going to see me and be like, "Man, that guy sucks." And I walked in the gym, and my coach was like, "So you ready for like November in 2 months?" And I was like, "You want me to do that again?" And he's like, "Well, do you want to?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, if you want me to, I just didn't think that you'd ever want me to represent you ever again." That was, and I went out and had an amazing showing, an amazing result, and it built from there. But I remember my best friend, I was talking to him after my second fight, and he goes, you're a bad motherfucker, this and that. Da, da, da. And I was like, nah, man. He said, bro, you have a winning record, a solid winning record as an MMA fighter. Damn it if it's amateur. He said, most people don't even have that. He said, you have that. No one can take that away from you. If you stop today, you already have that. And dude, as an amateur fighter, I was like, yeah, you're right. That's pretty cool. As a pro fighter, I was like, man, I made it as a pro. I'm got a winning record. If something happened and I couldn't fight anymore, I would always have this. So now knowing that I'm going to be on the PFL and fighting, Biaggio, who is, Muhammad Ali's grandson, that's a huge deal. I'm going to be on ESPN. Who gets to say that?
I know that you're a coach, and I know that you have a lot of students that you work with. And what's your message to all of your students out there?
Don't take it for granted. Work hard every day. Work as hard as you can every day. You never know, when you're not going to be able to do it anymore. And just like kind of to your previous question, I don't look forward to that day. Mm-hmm. I don't look forward to going once upon a time, mm-hmm. But nobody does. I think that everybody wants to stay in the moment. They want to stay in that prime. So I guess what I could say to all my students out there is just don't take it for granted and live in this moment, work hard. And, dude, if I freaking made it, anything is possible. You know what I mean? But just also thank you. Thank you for, being there for me and supporting me throughout my entire career. And even as a coach, my first passion before fighting is coaching. I love it. I love being around it. I love seeing people learn. It brings joy to my life. It brings me fulfillment. So thank you guys is what I would have to say.
And one final question for you, and it's more of a business question, right? The PFL, they signed you for a reason. They think that you're a tough guy and you're going to put on a great fight. And what would your message be to the PFL suits that signed you? What can they expect to see out of you come August 16th?
Don't put too much money down on Biaggio. I don't want him to be too upset with me. You know what I mean? No. Fireworks, man. I listen, I come to bring it. I'm not coming in there. I'm not starstruck by this guy or nothing like that. Again, it's another dude in another freaking cage. And I know that everyone's kind of looking forward to him, and he's the guy, and he's the build up and everything. But I'm going to change a lot of people's opinions on August 16th for sure.
Does the fact that a lot of this limelight is going to be spilling over his shoulders, does that benefit you in a way?
I mean, it maybe. Obviously I do my homework on him too. I'm researching him and I'm looking at him, and I heard him actually doing an interview about the pressure of his name. So the way I look at it is, dude, who the hell is Korey Taylor? Like,
the guy from Slipknot.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Right. Right. Nobody even knows me for my name. So, yeah, dude, he's got all the pressure, not me. I have no pressure. I'm going in there and I'm going to do my thing and, ruin his night. So
well, there we go. Would you ever walk out to a Slipknot song? Have you ever thought about it? Do you get asked that question a lot?
I do.
Well, I had to ask. I'm a metalhead and I had to ask, there was a part of me that wanted to ask you the first time. I'm like, you might get pissed off. I don't think I'll ask him, but no. Well, in any event, Korey, I appreciate your time, and I wanted to turn the tables back over to you. I know that you have a lot of supporters. I know that you have a lot of sponsors that work with you behind the scenes to make sure that you are ready for this fight here on August 16th. Who do we need to shout out before we let you go?
Oh, man, just all my sponsors. Thank you so much. Thank you for believing in me and supporting me throughout my entire career. Most of the sponsors I have been with me since day one. I got River Hills Chiropractic, who's always taken care of me. Always, always, always. You guys are awesome and number one in my heart. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I got Coastal Outdoor Living, who's the owner is a good friend of mine, and he's always taking care of me whenever I need him. And, so many others, my mom and my dad both support me. But first and foremost, my wife, I love you so much. Thank you for being there for me. Thank you for putting up with me. I know that I can be a pain in the ass, and you take it like a champ. But yeah, thank you to my manager, Steve Swedish. You are the man. thank you for getting me this opportunity. Thank you for working with me. And thank you to my head coach, Professor Roberto, and my head striking coach, Gene Batista, all my training partners, Preston Parsons, Kuba Kazuba. I got all those guys in my corner with me every day. So you guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, August 16th, ESPN, make sure you tune in to watch Korey Taylor fight Biaggio Ali Walsh. Will be a fantastic fight. I wish you the best of skills, sir, and I look forward to having you back on the program very, very soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I look forward to being back.